The establishment of the modern State of Israel in 1948 has often been framed as the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Many point to Ezekiel 37, the Valley of Dry Bones, as the divine foretelling of Israel's national resurrection. Yet competing perspectives challenge this narrative. Some scholars argue that the prophecy of Ezekiel 37 remains unfulfilled, and that the events surrounding the modern state may instead align with Ezekiel 38:39, where Gog and Magog rise against the land. This interpretive debate is further complicated by the Khazar hypothesis regarding Ashkenazi origins, and by a paradoxical statement from David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister, who acknowledged that many Palestinians may be direct descendants of the ancient Jews. The Khazar hypothesis proposes that Ashkenazi Jews largely descend from the Khazars, a Turkic people whose ruling class converted to Judaism in the 8th to 9th centuries. While contested and not universally accepted, this theory has influenced theological interpretations, especially among those who question the legitimacy of modern Zionism in biblical terms. If modern Ashkenazim descend primarily from converts rather than the exiled tribes of Israel, then the biblical framework of return to the land becomes less clear. Critics argue that in such a scenario, the establishment of Israel would not represent Ezekiel's vision of restored Israel, but rather a foreign incursion upon it. Ezekiel 37 presents a powerful vision of dry bones coming to life, symbolizing not only physical restoration to the land, but also spiritual renewal. I will put my spirit in you, and you shall live, and I will place you in your own land. Ezekiel 37, verse 14. Proponents of Zionism often point to Israel's rebirth after the Holocaust as a miraculous fulfillment of this passage. Yet critics note that the modern state is largely secular and political, lacking the covenantal transformation envisioned in the text. For them, the true restoration of Israel described by Ezekiel 37 has not yet taken place. Ezekiel 38 and 39 describes the invasion of the Holy Land by Gog of Magog and his allies, leading to a climactic confrontation in which God himself intervenes. Some interpreters argue that modern Israel, rather than fulfilling Ezekiel 37, fits more closely with this apocalyptic scenario. By this reasoning, the presence of Khazar-descended Jews in the land could correspond to the role of Gog and Magog, outsiders whose settlement sparks the eschatological conflict. David Ben-Gurion himself complicated the Zionist narrative. He acknowledged the belief that many Palestinians were descendants of the ancient Jews who had remained in the land after the Roman expulsions of 70 CE and 135 CE. Over time, these communities converted, first to Christianity and later to Islam, while retaining cultural and agricultural continuities with their ancestors. Ben-Gurion's rationale rested on several perspectives. 1. Historical continuity. Not all Jews were exiled. Many remained and gradually assimilated into the local population. 2. Sociological evidence. Palestinian fellahin, peasants, preserved agricultural practices and customs resembling those of ancient Israelites. 3. Ideological reflection. If Palestinians were indeed descendants of ancient Jews, then the paradox arises that those seen as strangers by Zionism might actually be the truer heirs of the land promised in Scripture. This paradox destabilizes the neat narrative of prophecy fulfillment. If Ashkenazim are linked to Khazars, while Palestinians carry Israelite ancestry, then the lines between restoration and intrusion blur. Ezekiel 37 may then point toward a future yet to come, a spiritual return of covenant fidelity, while Ezekiel 38:39 foreshadows the current geopolitical struggle involving outsiders in the land. Conclusion. The convergence of the Khazar hypothesis, Ezekiel's prophecy, and Ben-Gurion's reflections highlights the complexities of modern Israel's identity. Is the state a fulfillment of the Valley of Dry Bones, or is it the stage for Gog and Magog? Is the true Israelite heritage found in the Jewish immigrants of Europe, Or in the Palestinians who never left the land? These questions reveal not only theological tensions, but also the paradox at the heart of Israel's national story. Prophecy, history, and identity remain contested and unresolved,